window, takes half HP off him. Just waiting now on the off angle. Tries to back nade whilst his teammates are fighting tooth for nail. Nade's going down. Who else wants a piece of this fight?
What is this? There's 3 teams on the same compound. Regioso sends out the side into the vehicle to get himself some better angles. He's fighting for his life at this point in time. Spec moves in. Hoxie's half HP and Regioso's out on the edge. Surely he spots Junie, but he doesn't inside the smoke. And now Duckshan have another battle to get through. Need to get more players back up on their feet, but they're falling so quickly. Just Hoxie and Junie left alive. Junie, a veteran of these high-scale tournaments, but Nasa move in at the best opportune time. Will pick themselves up 9 eliminations off the back of this bad boy. Two players left alive, but on the southern edge, this is pretty decent stuff.
Damn, okay. That was an intense fight. That one was a lot easier. That's a slay down there, as we see both of Alter Ego's last remaining members quickly packed up and swept away. Beautiful fight though in the compound, man. Even in the way that Tokyo tried to play it with rejects bouncing back and forth, right? We saw OCO, smart heads up plays at least. Even though they go down in the fight, you could see the gun skill, the mechanics there were out in full force. Nice intense compound crash though leads us into the rest of the game as FaZe again continue applying pressure. Chow's been overwhelmed, gets bitten to pieces. It's actually Evos are able to steal away the final tag onto that. So getting the extra elim for their troubles. Parajin though will be put down in the ground as he's picked off by FaZe. Now starting to make their move into the center, getting themselves closer and closer and just trying to play off whatever geometry will actually provide some sort of protection for them. And Torres, suspicious about the smokes as well, knows that there could be someone lurking, waiting to peek. And he's got contact on Star. Quick flick there, hits the head blank and shuts the man down.
Yeah, very nice little shot there and pick up from FaZe. This is a really difficult area of the map to play, honestly. You see a lot of teams play this one out. You realistically just have the tower here. There's a slight dip as we head down. It's almost unnoticeable, but it does give FaZe a significant advantage, in which case they can take shots over towards Xavier. The difficulty is the fact that so much of the western side of the circle is still in play here, that Procedure Evos have a massive advantage. Despite that, FaZe is not letting that up. And it's so surprising we're not seeing Procedure Evos take a little quick peek over towards this eastern side. See if they can pick themselves up some more eliminations. Right now, they're currently running on 12, placement points 16 elims. This is a game where you want to pump those elims up, even if it means you get yourself a second place. But I can see why they wouldn't want to give up the gas station here. But maybe just letting one player out on the loose, you know, sending to the side, find a quick pot shot over towards FaZe, because currently it's a 4-player team. They have a chance to try and take down Procedure Evos in the end game.
Big chances. Definitely
there it is.
Open opportunity for this one to swing into the favor of Evos now, though. Nice first tag down the hill. Connection across, DX suffering from it as Luxy will be able to spray his way in. Gets the tap off that we needed to see. So the compound control still firmly in their favor, and they're starting to clear out the players that were edging closer towards them. FaZe, meanwhile, still down towards the ridge side. Mormon and Malaya playing together as they start to make their move up. Close on in. You've got a couple of angles of connection here as well. Spec being one of them as he's firing off the warning shots. And then, for Udo Alliance, there's actually a bit of a chance here to just be a fawn in the side. If you're not cleared, you're so far back down towards the ridge. As FaZe come pushing up, you could try and get stuck into it, especially if the timing works for the push down from Spec and they draw his attention. Lots of small nuances on this one, but the big focal point is just the fact that Evos are in a great position to try and command the game. Ooh, rough recovery mission there.
Very much so. Chloe just goes down. Lynx finds Spec as he makes a rotate through. Procedure Evos now up to 5 eliminations, looking for a little bit more. And they have to push for more here because, you know, a 5 elimination game with a chicken dinner, it's all right. 15 elims, 15 points, sorry, total is decent. But, you know, pumping that as hard as you can here. They know they want more points. It's a very good initial nade that's sent out, but FaZe is on the back line. They're not looking to give this game up. Another amazing nade on the predict over towards G. fan, and Redface is just sending these over and over again. Another one will take down GK first. Now just FSS left alive, and it will be Redface to stand out for this one. One knock goes over towards Luxy with the 5 eliminations on board. Nade sent over the top over towards FaZe, one of the final teams alongside with Olio over on Udo Alliance, looking for that second place placement point steal.
Evos, this is where you've just got to shut things down, close it out, don't let mistakes start to get out of hand. FaZe fighting tooth and nail though, bombarding down onto Misery, who's forced to hit the deck, so belly down to the ground, drops himself into the vehicle and tries to drive out of there, keep himself safe, susceptible to the shots though, but goes for the getaway. If we can see the res, FaZe will at least have a fair fight in the 2v2 in terms of the players that are currently up, but Evos are going for their recovery as well. They want to grab Link, have some additional numbers in this battle to play with. Quick pop heal as well. Nice peek up. Beautiful damage done with the AR. Switches to the DBS and wants to go full heal as well. Nice peek in their face.
What is going on?
With the AR.
Already we see another knock come through with DBS.
Nice peek up their face.
What is going on? Already we see another knock come through with DBS.
Nice peek up their face. Skirting around the outside. Is there anything that can be done? They're low. Now would be the time to strike whilst the players are down. They're knocked. They're on their last legs. Doesn't have the full list of information that we do though, so his decision making will be affected by this. And this just gives more time to Evos to try and reset things. Redface now back up. He's just going to be watching, looking for the peek over. Gets the heal in as well. The longer this goes on, the more numbers you're going to have to fight against. So Udo Alliance, the chance of this one being clutched now far harder. Again, falling into a position where this should be a guaranteed chicken dinner for Evos.
Man, that could have been a chicken dinner there for Udo Alliance, and Olio just need a little bit more confidence to try and go in and bruise the pride there of Procedure Evos. He's got 2 nades in hand. There's no utility on the side of Procedure Evos so far, but that might change once they start to loot some of these crates that surround and litter the battlefield. No meds available for Misery other than those stims available for him. Might go for a quick scout in the vehicle. So far this game, Luxy is absolutely putting some mega work for them. 5 eliminations so far. First initial nade sent out. After that, there is another sent over the top. Little bit of damage found, but not a lot.
Yeah, there isn't going to be too much we can really set the stage for on this one, unless somehow he was able to flip the script entirely and pull off the 1v3. That's the situation he's left himself in. So likelihood low, but potential reward very, very high here for Alliance. Just crawling his way around through the reeds right now, staying down in the ground. Luxy is jumping around, trying to get info on this. Just wants to spot where exactly he is. They're playing a more fragmented system, just looking for the trade. There's the contact, it seems. Bullets being spammed into the smoke. So just a bit of a pre-fire rather than actually locating where he is just yet. Longevity on this one being played out though, Blank. Fair play to him. You've got the time to work with. You want to make it as awkward as possible. See what he can get done here.
Yeah, I mean, the mistake was made way early, and this should definitely be a Procedure Evos win. But the thing is as soon as you see the teams go down to 2 and the amount of knocks that came through on the elimination field, Olio should just be sending in, looking for elimination points where he can. Does find a little bit of damage to start things off, but that'll be all it is as Redface finishes him off in a 21-point game there for Procedure Evos, which will make them feel a lot more secure in their standing, right? But yeah, I definitely think that Olio could have got, you know, at least 2 elims off the back of that if he just tried to flush 2 of the players, maybe even a chicken dinner if he just went sooner. I think it's like I said, as soon as you see those knocks in the elimination feed, as soon as you see it drop down to 2 teams remaining, you just fly in because the result is the same either way.
No, it's very true, right? There is no worse outcome. There's nothing that's going to result in you getting less points. You're not going to be forced into a third out of nowhere. I agree with you, man. As much as it's one thing where he didn't have the full situation, we obviously have a little bit more information going into a fight like that where they've just had that final fight. No matter what, HP is going to be low. He was basically in a 1v1 with a half HP player, but obviously didn't have the chops on him to go for it. You can see the excitement here, though. Evos looking very vocal. Luxy telling the stories from that one. as they relay some of the plays they just made. Fair play though, for what it was, Blank. Procedure Evos playing a great game there. You know, had a good setup early. They were confident in the way they wanted to take the compound and played it smart. So you do love to see that.
Yeah, it's awesome to see Luxy like topping the tails in terms of damage and eliminations there. I mean, a well-revered player within PUBG Mobile esports, just fell off massively over the past couple of years, but it looks like he has really put in the work and he's returning to form. Honestly, it's amazing to see, because it really was that Luxy sort of was overshadowed by the likes of Ryzen and as well as Zuxi back on BTR. But look at this, Luxy's really making a stand, so he's constantly pressuring the issue, constantly trying to push for those big heights in the future, which is amazing. I'm really, really glad to see it. But again, UDO Alliance, a little bit of a throw at the end there, a little bit of a throw from Procedure Evos. They could have lost the 2 players there from FaZe, but just like Luxy, let's get back to basics with the desk.
That's right, Procedure Evos getting themselves the victory here off the back of this. We lost Jason for just a little minute, but we will hold down the fort just as Procedure Evos held down Gas Station. Looking fantastic whilst doing it here, Max.
Yep, and able to weather the storm with 2 teams pushing on their location, right, Kalaris? You had, of course, Hyper going downhill across the road, trying to go for the engage, which, of course, you are in this location. It's very easy to abuse with that third-person perspective. You can just jump, chuck the nades, get the easiest eliminations in the world onto Hyper, but then FaZe trying to go for a third party, and I really thought that was going to be the end of Procedure Evos, but it's down to Misery. He's able to clutch it up, go for the res, and get rid of the final player of UDO Alliance. That is how you hold down a position like that. You just make sure you can use those walls to its full potential, and that's 21 points here to start off this match.
Absolutely. Oftentimes we see the Gas Station as having a little bit of a vulnerability, right? Because there is that small little gap underneath the walls. However, they did a great job of zoning people away from even having angles on that
1,444
as they came close. So 21 points
Anyone
go that
out
way.
there?
Next, for the most part, we thought might have a grasp on Gas Station, kind of moved a little bit to the east, but eventually just started blasting everything anyway for those south rotates. So it's a really big game for them as well.
I think it was J7 that was in the warehouse, and that this
looks like maybe we have a winner.
And they had this massive 4-man split, and I thought, okay, they're going to wait for the next circle, and based on where it goes, they're going to regroup normally in what I thought at the time was going to be Gas Station. But no, they regrouped to the eastern side, then wrap around the southern side of the river to fight Inko, which I was a bit surprised by that, Kalaris. I didn't expect them to do that. They just completely obliterate Inko. Then third-party reject that were fighting Duxan come out on top of that to get then, as you saw, 9 eliminations. It's the craziest way to get to that point, but I mean, the eliminations showed up, so I can't argue too much. They got the points they needed in this match.
No, indeed. Them alongside D Xavier as well, with the amount of elims that they were able to garner. Very important for their campaign across what is only 2 days of gameplay, with also UDO Alliance kind of making what I would say almost a surprise entry when it comes to the upper echelons of this game. Not necessarily because of the circle and how things were playing out, but they were in a very wide split to start things off, Mac, for UDO Alliance. And then I think when it gets down to that 4v1, 3v1 scenario at the end, it's very difficult for him to make that call to try and crest the hill, right? Considering the elimination feed and how it all works out.
Exactly, you just have a big lack of information. It's like, did the entire team get flushed out? Is there just one 3-man team remaining? Is it going to be like a bunch of solos? We're just not quite sure at that point. So let's not take the risk. Let's try and survive to try and just secure second place. So I do get the idea. If he did know, that was a misplay, but I just, as you said, I don't think he had the information that it was a full squad. So if he did know, then unfortunately it could have been the good time to strike, but it was still a second place. So a good match, and currently the best match for UDO Alliance.
Hello, Jason.
I was actually just doing my impression of Gladiators that game, just not being here. I don't know, that's a little mean. But I think this game, though, was mostly just about the teams who desperately needed to get some points under their belt, getting those points under their belt. You guys already talked about Besieja. Obviously, this is their last day of play as well, so they really have to rack up as much as possible to build that buffer. UDO Alliance, this is the first time they are playing, so they can get some steam going here as they go on forward into this one. And Nazir, which, I mean, 9 eliminations, that's a good start. I think for me, for a team like that, it's a confidence booster. It's to show them that, okay, we can compete against these teams, even though we might have been struggling the first couple of matches, but where can they go from here? And obviously, we still have that one Aaron Go left to come today. Gladiators, going out early, but again, they should be relatively safe. Alter Ego, not really much to say about them either. If you had anything to chime in with, Kalaris, but
I mean,
not gonna
honestly,
force you.
I mean, as you're saying for Nasser, I like their decision making to just start sweeping and start eliminating. Like, if you think about giving up a gas station location, yes, you could sit on the edge, on the east edge of that circle and just slowly creep up to that. Maybe you'd have to kind of have a bit of a skirmish with the remaining members of Alliance kind of north of you, as they're also wanting to be approaching from that similar angle. Maybe you lose people out on that, but they decided, no, let's take that south side, which is covered a little bit more by, you know, the terrain as a whole, and actually take some really good skirmishes. So I'm impressed from that game.
I agree.
Well, we'll see if they can maintain any sort of momentum though going into the next match here. Let's throw it back to our casters, to Jack Gimbley.
Thanks, Jason. I know, man. It's a treat blank, right? With the way that the games have been going so far today, they just keep delivering. We keep getting some real moments of excitement. So honestly, I'm just kind of living for it, man. This is a good time to be enjoying the survival stage from a safe position, anyway, right? If we're in the games, different story. But watching them, I'm having a field day.
Absolutely. I love that, you know, Jason is so excited that he went slow-mo for that throw. That was amazing. Beautiful stuff. We got the hands up. Everyone wants to speak to the teacher, apparently. Tunica doesn't know what's going on. That's fine. Zerich is slamming down. What a weird scenario that was. Okay. I do think, yeah, it's like 2 boys in the back, like, we're just here. Zerich and Tulica are doing everything. Zerich is like, another rotation gone wrong again. But to be fair to the Mad Bulls, I think honestly Tulica probably is a little bit stressed because he has done so much work for them. I think he's really doing well for the team, and they should be very pleased with his results because I think he's come a long way in the year he's been playing with the Mad Bulls. It used to be a case that he was a bit of a loose cannon on the team, always going a little bit too far away from them, but he plays much more as a good teammate now. Supporting Zerich and being a great frontliner without getting too aggressive. So I've been very excited to see the development coming through from Tulica in particular.
He's looking good, man. He really is. And I think, you know, it's interesting because this entire Mad Bulls roster can definitely deliver at times. And we've always kind of set that precedent that they are very exciting to watch. They are very explosive. It just wasn't super consistent, was I think the problem with it. Whereas now, at least into survival stage, it kind of seems like something has clicked and they've realized, you know, we really need to make sure that we're the ones making
Inco once again find themselves
a
very
free chicken dinners
spot,
already under the
they have
belt,
lived in.
which by and large, you know, that's no easy feat.
The
They've
final
definitely
job
had to put
towards
the work
them,
in. That's over the space of the 2 days
get
as well.
away,
And we're only really, you know, a
remain
handful
on
of
this
games
backside.
in
And
today.
although
We still have
it
this
was
last
very
pairing
rough to
out
play from
and
him
then 2
earlier,
more
now
as
everyone
well.
realizes
So anything
the
else
hotspot.
Mad Bulls can find on the day, they're going to be happy
Claw
with.
down,
We'll
Fluke
see
down,
though,
traded
we
off
are
but
getting
just the
back
one. They
into
turn
it.
around the
Third
corners though, and they got the
final
DBS
Erangel
in close range.
then.
I think there
So
was several
any
going
chance
off
for some
there.
last
There's at
minute
least 2 on the roster.
shenanigans? We'll see if
Vampire
they'll be
keeping
coming
the
out.
shotguns in hand.
Yeah, I mean, for some of these teams, might want to go for a hot drop potentially. It's the last map of the day, so it's one where you could pull out some
position, trying to get as many
secret
reses through as
moves
possible
on
before they
the Erangel
start to make that
match,
grand
especially
dash.
with Green, this
Becker
being their
just taking
final
shots.
match of
Inco
Erangel.
already
They
up
will
to
be
3
playing.
eliminations
They
so
could
far from the
surprise some of
waters
these
below.
teams.
The
Maybe
Sharks
we'll see what happens.
looking for a
They
little
just
bit more
keep it
to chew.
basic, though. I think a lot of these teams are kind of
Vehicle goes up.
really
Can't sit in that anymore.
leaning
Need over
into
the top for Squash as
consistency
he
more than anything
launches up
at this point in time, realizing that look,
off the bank
it's not
side.
easy to pick up
One.
these points, and I think
Really
for us,
struggling
it's
here.
just better
Inco
idea
doing a stellar job.
things
3
going
eliminations so far.
the way they
Forest should
wanted
be
to, but
spotted.
Zerich
DRS in the
actually
meantime,
dropped over
southwest side.
towards,
Vampire at their back.
Nasa, but I
looking
think
to
this
move
is
up.
more of a
Schwepp does
case
fall.
of this
It's
playing
rejected there.
path causing this more than anything.
Off angle
But this is
should
gonna
be
difficult,
resable here for
particularly with the fact
Vampire.
that a
4
lot of the Mad
eliminations
Bulls
already on
are
the game.
not in close contention. Luckily, they've got
Reject.
2 shotguns, which are going to be extremely
Delta.
useful
Either player
in
going
this
down.
close range
Draw
combat that
some
they're
ammo,
going to
draw
get
some
themselves into very
sightlines away
shortly.
from Vampire on their approach on the southwest side.
It
The
looks
blue
so
zone moving
terrifying.
in. Shots from
Watching
Ravenclaw as they
man
crest the
with a
ridge.
with a blade,
The back
just
line not
crouching
safe.
round the
Rules
corner flank. It's
repositioning.
very horror movie.
Ravenclaw
It's
cannot
not
risk this
October
peak.
anymore.
Go
It's
for the spray that he
November,
wants to
so
find, but
we're
the
getting
nade
closer
over the
towards
top.
Christmassy
Could be on the
season.
money.
I
It's the
imagine
only one he's got in the
we'll see
pocket.
some
Looks like it's
gifts
on
being
target.
given
Maybe a
out
little bit
inside the
short there.
compound.
Will fall
Most likely
just in front of the
being
rock.
bullets,
Delta
though,
hides
with
behind.
those shotguns.
Schwepp swings out
Seems
wide.
like the phones
Yankee
are
shots
going
over to
down, and
rejects.
there
They are
probably has
caught
been
in a trap
technical
right now.
issue.
The
So
DRS need to
we're
stay
gonna need
strong.
a rehost on this bad boy. It's a cut
Push for a
short.
lot of teams
Not
at the
going to
moment.
be
I mean,
seeing any shenanigans
BB's not
on
making
this
this
one.
easy.
We'll relive
They're
it, get
remaining
things
outside
sorted,
the sightlines
and then
from
get
the
people
guys of
back
Reject,
in
so
for another test.
for DRS,
on the
they
old
just
area
have to
now.
push for this team
I
in
do
front.
like that, you know.
Big Mechanics
it
do
sort
go
of felt
down,
like
but
Mad
Besiktas
Bulls stop
Still
that
going pretty
match.
strong on that eastern
They're
side.
like, we're in a horrible
DRS
situation, guys.
slowly being pulled apart here by the
down.
nades.
Shut it down.
Reject,
I
Divine,
mean,
sending stuff over.
I think most
Killer now
teams,
steps up,
considering
takes
how
down
quickly
Schwartz,
we got that
leaving
rematch as
VPE
well,
at
and
3
some of
for the
them.
time being. Got 6 eliminations.
Considering how
Already
quickly we
found
got
the
that
for a bigger
rematch going
game.
through as
Inco
well,
currently dominating
most
from the
teams
rank
are pretty
side.
pleased with how that one
Killer
worked
last
out.
standing
considering
now, full
how
DRS. They would
horrible
know
that play path
pretty much where that
was,
position
right?
is going to be, but
Not
Killer finds
easy
another
to
one.
work
Oh,
through.
he's drifted over.
Yeah.
He didn't get it. Okay,
No,
fair enough.
honestly,
I didn't realise the rear axle was only
Unless
a
we roll the
90%
dice
HP hit,
and
but
end
either
up
way,
getting a
Vampire takes the
critical
knock
fail
back
again,
over the stone.
right?
He's
It should
got the
be
smoke
better.
out, has
It
that
should
cover
be
to play
better
around,
for
but
most of
Godless
the
threads the
squads in
needle
terms of
nonetheless, and I
easy
actually pick
routes
up the
to your
elimination.
common drop
Vampire,
spots, so
they had a
hopefully
good
won't
fight
be
there,
all
but it
doom
just
and
came
gloom for
crashing
them.
down right at
And
the
shouldn't
end
take too
with
long
that
to
cheeky
get
little knock
things
from
sorted
Killer.
out and
The double
straight
knock, in
back
fact,
in.
as well.
Nice seeing some
on
of
the
our players
rollout.
on screen as well today, Blank.
Stayed
There's
hidden
not been
for
a
quite
lot
a
of
while.
time with
Vampire
the
down at
player
one active,
cams
pretty
today.
split. Next
And it
circle
does give us a
finally
bit
takes us
more
to
of
the
an
North Shore
insight
fully.
into how some of the teams are looking. That sort
Maybe
of
A7
human
starts
element.
capitalise off the back
I
of this
say
Titans
human.
also
We've got man, them
currently a
Sith Lord
4-man
over
squad.
here.
Did take down
know.
one of the players coming through
Macu
from Alpha
just
7 who was
in
trying
the
to
dark
control
right
the
now.
river itself and
Look at
Revo.
him.
Yeah,
Very slowly
hungry.
but surely made their way into
With any
position. I
chicken
like that
there.
play from
No matter
Titans.
the length of
Carefully,
time in the
in the
survival
meantime, baby
stage.
time in the water. Inco still dominating from this side.
points on the last day.
It was one of those pushes where it's like, this might not work out for us for the first time, but trust me, lads, we will get some points from this position. If we just
and if you need to
maintain
become the
our
Sith Lord, you
lives.
start
At some point,
shooting
this
out
is
some
going to become
bolts of
hugely
lightning from your
contested, and
fingers
people
to
are
get
going to be
it
sending
done.
themselves
All
in
respect
3
to
points
Macu,
for us in the vehicles.
Hey, I'll give it to him,
to
man.
join
It's a good look.
players near the rivers.
It's a
Hasn't
good
committed
look.
to it
This
just
is
yet.
nice, though.
Actually, just
I have
finding a
missed
spot
this. You know,
right near the
even
edge of the
seeing
circle
Quest
right now.
on screen, man. You know, how
So for
Haji,
Vampire, they have
the
8
man is just
eliminations, so
emotive,
placement points that they
as
can
well.
rack
Kind
up
of wears
now.
his heart on
There's
his
a
sleeve
lot
little
of
bit, so it's nice sort of getting a glimpse
ragtag
with
teams
the
in the river.
Quest, seeing how they're looking. Obviously, rough
They
day
can just
from
stay alive
rough
and not get
span of
caught up
days,
in it.
really, but
They
still
can ladder up
looking like
easily
the mental
6 to 7
fortitude is
15
there. A
places
little
here.
bit of frustration, maybe bubbling to a boil.
Team taking shots. This
That
guy
could be
really performed
used to their
very
edge.
well through the
With
group
FaZe
stage.
Cam now
And a
on
little bit of
screens
a
as well.
slower
Cam,
performance
we've got
coming through on the
stats to back
survival
it up
stage, but
as
has made
well.
it in.
FaZe not
Still
actually
had
having a
some really
bad day
big
of it, to be
moments.
honest, Blank.
Seems like he's still being
Yeah,
that
I
front
think
man
for
the squad.
FaZe, it's been pretty decent. I think we got the dance moves from Mela earlier on, and now we're coming back for some more. Oh, okay. I thought I was going in a different direction. We got the love heart instead. That's great. Thank you very much. For FaZe, honestly, that last game was really, really cool. I enjoyed the fact that we saw the almost 2v4 coming through. They looked pretty strong with it. There's definitely some strong players on that team. Melo and Ventora's really, really long-standing players within the scene as well. PUBG Mobile, they've done some really good stuff in the past. We got Enigma Galaxy on screen at the moment. A team that's just kind of struggled, right? And I think that one of their major issues, they don't find enough vehicles, which feels like, you know, it feels like you're failing at the first aspect of PUBG Mobile. And that feels bad to say because I know they're a good team, but that's like rule number 1, right? Just get some vehicles on the drop and go from there.
Look, the way to word it in a friendly manner is they've been very cost efficient on fuel today. They've been using the the carpool lane.
Yeah. It's not ideal, that's for sure.
It's definitely not.
I mean, we're trying to put olive oil in the tank right now. It's not working. Let's just get.
That's not going to work. That's not dinosaur juice.
Yeah, let's get some more vehicles. Let's get some more dinosaur juice from the ground. Let's pump it up and just get on moving because 4 vehicles better than 1 vehicle. I don't feel like I need to say that on PMGC, but there you go. But 20 seconds before we get back into our 4th match of the day. Bit odd because again with that plane path. No. Put them down.
I do love the idea that they've not communicated this to Liquor at all. So he's just sat there like, why do they keep putting their hands
What's going on? They're all becoming mannequins at this point in time. We don't exist. These are just stand-in dolls for Naomi as well as Frozen.
Right then. Well, let's get our seatbelts snapped in as it's time to go back to Erangel. Last game of the day today for this map. Following this, we get the back-to-back Miramar. So a bit of a change of pace there, a bit of a change of scenery that will be just around the corner. Who's getting that last chicken dinner on Erangel, though? And how's this game going to go? Let's find out. Plane path, a little bit nicer.
Yeah, way nicer actually on this one because I think whenever you get that plane path that moves down slope right on the edge of the map. You're given so many limited options, especially forcing a lot of teams to drop over towards the Sosnovka military base as well. And if you do want to get towards one of your original drop spots, you sort of have to drop towards that middle third of the playing path, which means that more than likely you're going to run into at least another 10 other teams trying to do the same thing alongside with you. So picking up some of those trash drops, trying to pick up those vehicles, going to get very hairy indeed. So with this playing path, you're going to have a lot more room to drop out when you want to, and kind of spread yourselves across the map. Even though it is far off towards the western side, a lot of teams will be much more pleased on their approach. Nacer dropping over towards Rozhok right now alongside with the Mad Bulls. I don't think they'll be dropping right on top of them potentially, but we'll wait and see. We get another circle, very similar to our last one on our angle, up towards that northern side of the map.
Okay then. A little bit of water on that boy for now, but it won't matter too much. Early doors. Looking at some of the spots though, just seeing if there's going to be any shenanigans here for our last Erangel. We've seen a couple of hot drops sprinkled in for good measure today, but nothing overly audacious here. The only close proximity we really see is on screens now, with Mad Bulls a couple of miles away, especially with the move that's coming in, different trajectories for the rotations. You can't be doing that. If you look directly at the sunblank, it's quite bad for your eyes.
He's got a blue light filter on the red dot, don't worry.
Oh, he's okay.
He's all good.
I was worried there for a second. His retinas will be taking damage, Blank.
Oh, absolutely. Won't be able to see for the rest of the game. Just have like the smallest pinpoint of vision towards the center.
Just really realistic PUBG Mobile. Yeah, I've looked at the sun. And
I can no longer see. It's not good. Can we get a rematch, please? Rehost.
I've been flashbanged by the big orb.
What is big orb in the sky? I do not understand.
Where has this come from?
Who is he? Yeah, it doesn't
be like the
oh my God,
bear in the big blue house, mate.
Yeah.
You know?
We'll have to explain what the sun is. Well, everybody. No, I'm only joking. But we are going to head over towards the northern side for the time being. NBE Sports. I don't think they've done too badly at all. Kaze's kind of been like the main driving force of the team, though, right?
Yeah.
Hitting some really, really good shots recently, but again, some of their rotates feel just a little bit lacking, you know, getting caught on the edge side quite a few times, which doesn't feel great for them as a team, because I do think that when this team is put under pressure, some of their rotations to try and extricate themselves from those positions become a little bit haphazard. I think they've been fortunate on some of these other games where, for instance, they had an opportunity on that last match to escape and they zoomed in over towards Inco and immediately got put down by them. But that could have been a much better fight if it wasn't the fact that Becker just withstood the force of a vehicle going 60 miles per hour. Doesn't make much sense to me. FaZe, though, immediately take a knock. Zfan will move up. Mormon has only got the shotgun, but a great drop shot there will take down Shifan. A little bit of that greed being punished away there in the box compound.
So Mormon with the AK, slays from far away, throws the clip back in, as they will hit the DECK. Gets the res back off as well. Meanwhile, Car Chase City is the name of the game here, it seems. Ooh, contact from the side, though, baited in as they pulled into Quest's domain. And right now, they are ready to rumble. They assault onto the close range players. Ooh, good damage done onto the getaway vehicle as well, as Al Haji is throwing out the bullets. And they're chasing the Quest convoy hard on the tail, Blank, looking to see if they can actually fight this one back and chase him down.
I mean, they desperately need the points, right? And I mean, FSS is moving straight up towards the top side of Everest, trying to escape as quick as he can. Get his level 3 in hiking done here. Fahidan sends towards that top side, just tries to spot for him, but I don't think FFS is going to be in this situation for too long at all. Al Haji will just be medkitting away, gets himself back up to full HP here. But FaZe, I think they did a pretty decent job to sort of resume operations after taking that initial knock there from Zfan. And it will be N-Hyper who really does suffer the consequences of getting too aggressive in this location, dropping down to just 2 players now.
DX on screens here, getting the looting done. DX, been a little bit less uncontested in terms of fighting for common drop spots. They've been willing to actually mold themselves into less common drops or work around some of our other teams. That's something that we are now seeing from them, which was quite uncharacteristic of what they were doing game in, game out, at least back during the regulation part of the group stage with the full group green. So shows at least some smart adjustments for them there. FS did at least get away. He's been able to run down and avoid Quest's onslaught.
Yeah.
But what have you really got left, man? The entire team off the back of that was basically split in half, right? Like, sure, they're still alive, but you're down to just 2 with low HP and not really much to work with in terms of the early loot either. You haven't had a chance to kind of pick anything clean. So rough start for them, to say the least.
Yeah, I don't even think FS even knows where he's going at this point in time. Sends up towards Zaki, of all places. Enigma Galaxy make their way in towards Rozhok. I think this is a bit of a lion's den that you don't really want to get into too early on. Easy gets taken down by FaZe, who pick themselves up yet another point on the match here. Quest tries to come in for a little bit of retribution. Al Haji spots out, but Onzen's very ready for the same peak again. Doesn't try to go for anything fancy here, and Quest realizes it's probably just a good idea to bail out this one. Gladiators up towards the northern edge of Georgia Pod, still looting. They've got a lot of time ahead of them to make this one happen. A lot of teams did shift themselves over towards the eastern side of the map, so a lot of this western edge is quite free, and with a lot of the infighting that has happened between FaZe and Hyper as well as Quest. A lot of these teams haven't made their initial rotates yet. Zerich spots onto Ralph from Enigma Galaxy. You got Freak on the side here, but Zerich is very quick with it, in and out of cover like a shot here.
Trying to hard commit and does pick it up, landing the follow-up shot. Ooh, quick pre-fire as well. So Zerich was paranoid about the peak there, coming around the corner a little bit quicker than he had anticipated for. Does go fast on the chase, but already with the engine purring, they're just trying to get away and avoid just losing most of their stock here in the Mad Bulls territory. So give up the fight on that one. We get a cameo from Reject Tokyo as well. It seems to have done a good job of finding themselves 4 vehicles to work with. So rotates now going to be a bit of an easier piece of the puzzle for them. And they're also heading over towards Rozhok. So you do have a potential here where you're going to have quite a few close grouped squads actually, especially with Nassar pushing further down. They might actually get a bit of a read on this one. So room to breathe. Big split for them as well, actually. Basically running a buddy system of 2 players apiece. On the bridge cam to the left, you can see Rosemary as well, starting to inflict some damage towards FaZe. That's another hot spot. In terms of the heat map there, Gladiators towards the top, just above Quest. Quest that seem to be edging closer towards FaZe after hearing the dinner bell being rung.
Yeah, it's quite a lot of teams that had a lot of these engagements happening earlier, right, Jackie? And they decided that, you know, they're not going to move across the bridges. They're going to get stuck in over towards this ridge side on the western edge. And I think that has made for a very interesting western side of the circle, with a lot of these teams opting just not to push forward. Quest, I think that was a rundown over towards Alter Ego that was found there after they took a couple of pot shots. Lufa looks over towards Tulica, will find the initial shot on the DBS, backing off just slightly, now looking for Zerich, who is holding his own as best as he can here.
Oh, felt like that one was a little bit sloppy to get the final pickup there in the end, but they're still fighting for it, still looking to close things out. Frozen, fragmented from the rest of the squad, peeks out through the smoke. Ooh, look at the nade lineup on that as well. A couple seconds slower on the getaway, and he could have been eating that nade. Would have absolutely ruined him. Luckily, Mad Bulls will still hold on with just 1 man. Frozen, the ice-cold assassin that had to let it go on that one, as he'll back off and tuck into a better angle. Meanwhile, Lord puts some bullets down range as well, just keeping the pressure on. So Rejects in the thick of it now, with players surrounding them from most angles here. Coops does fall back after at least playing his initial card, going to the compound to play off his team.
Yeah, it's actually a really strong spot that Rejects able to pick themselves up there. I mean, it's not an easy one to immediately take control of. Alva looks over towards Quest, will find 2 of them, immediately sprays both of them down. It will just be the 1 player left remaining now for Quest and Fahidan. Our Alter Ego desperately needed those points as well, up to 4 now total. And I think for them, you know, currently in 9th place, 36 points. That takes them to 40. So they're not in the worst spot in the world, but it's not great either. Let's put it that way. I think for Nigma Galaxy, on the other hand, still need to get some more points on today, realistically. And Hyper currently at 10 points total, 0 points on the game. You know, there's a couple of these teams from Group Red that really do need to get a move on at this point in time. But this is one of the more infighty lobbies we've seen throughout the entirety of the survival stage. Yesterday was just quite dominant. A lot of smart maneuvers going around. This is very scrappy, I would say, in terms of the fighting that's been going on.
Yeah, that does sum it up pretty accurately. It's been a very, very scrappy affair. Close quarters combat being the aggressive maneuver here from Alter Ego. Kicking the doors, running on in, and finding the pickups with both barrels there. Stereo connection onto Quest. So they're taken down. Gladiators are close by, close enough that maybe their ears are perking up and thinking about the potential, but they might have their heads a bit more screwed on, thinking about the longevity of the game here, rather than trying to get involved with potential dribs and drabs of Elim points. Reject Tokyo still looking like they've got confidence as well. They've got a good setup in terms of the position, but they haven't really cascaded back. They've still been controlling the outer ridge here towards the hillside after not wanting to give it up when Mad Balls pushed in and applied a bit of pressure onto them, trying to keep control of the land they've found. Lord seems to have taken a bullet to the back of the head there, though, so down on his last legs for the meantime. Quick head count of our squads. You can see that a fair few of them have already lost players, so the battle of attrition has been going on in the background. The only actual squad wipe we've seen, though, was Quest.
Yeah, it's been a sort of a difficult game for a lot of teams where they've just been taking a couple of fights here and there, trying to escape from it. And you can tell that's kind of the survival stage mentality of a lot of these teams, that you start to lose an engagement. Right, that's it. We'll just leave it alone. Let's get out of here as quickly as possible. And Hyper's initial fight went horribly wrong, really pear-shaped in that sense. But for Reject, they picked themselves out a very strong spot. You're right, they're holding on the outside edge. They've realized that the 3-story gives them a lot of strength in terms of being able to spot out teams and take some shots across the way, try to weaken some of these squads, potentially even get a flush. But leaving this position also is a little bit rough for yourself, because you are surrounded by some compounds that can quite easily cut off your disengages. So for Regiosio, probably one of the smarter players, I would say, to leave on the outside edge. Really strong individual player in his own right. Can get away with maybe a quick knock and then a retreat back to the rest of the team. So I like this play from Reject so far. It's looking strong. FaZe, though, do find one of the players in Kitsune there. I think that's a bit of a misstep coming through from the Gladiators. They should have known there might be more teams coming through on this area, and just allowing Mela to immediately pick himself up. A quick and cheeky flush on towards them. The gatekeep gets shut down almost immediately.
S26 Ultima 帶 BB 探索幻想世界。Let's go！
The edge here, Meku with the full wide berth on the rotate, trying to get as far back as he can. There is still a play to be made, though, inside of the blue. If you could assist Mela, you could still put pressure on Meku and force him to give up the aggression on this one. He was just looking for a read, and the information play does still stay alive with his hands firmly on the wheel, so he's happy to at least be breathing on this one. Also eager, relatively close as well, with even a slight push there, just looking for a read themselves.
我们是失业者联盟，失忆的
失败者的一天。明天这是好丢人。
我的皮肤现在跟我的心情黯淡无光。
今天感觉就很。
Itself up in a relatively good spot for Evos once again as well. Melisto will have to fight tooth and nail for this, and they go for the brutish approach, sending the vehicle in with Kishu just driving his way through straight away. We'll put a pin in that though, as there's a fight going on, and FaZe are fragging blank. They found their way through all of the gladiators in seconds there.
Mate, again, this is Mela just absolutely killing it today. And I mean, we saw that on that last game, almost the 2v4 versus Procedure Evos. And Mela once again shows us he can do it just as easily in the mid game as he can in the late game. So a really heads up play there coming through from Mela. I don't know how that just occurred, but with the DBS, that guy is absolutely kingly. And I think that's going to bring Gladiators back down to earth once again. maybe 1 or 2 more good games for them to see them feeling a little bit safer into the lobby at the end of the day. 59 points, it's pretty decent. And with the amount of teams that are currently sat down towards 18, 17 points total, there's a chance for this team. There's still a chance, but that does not look promising. For FaZe, on the other hand, they've had some pretty cool standouts today. Not always been able to get all their players towards that end game, but, you know, at least some eliminations every single time. They're already up to 30 points on their first day. It's good to see.
It is nice for them. Big game. Even if they go out now, you've still been able to achieve a lot in terms of the elims and the other chicken dinners they've taken. More to be done for FaZe as well, of course. As you know, this isn't the end of their run. They'll still have tomorrow to come back out swinging up against Group Yellow and see what they can do there. Fight continues on now, though, with Frozen being really close in terms of the positioning. You were thinking maybe there was chance for the fight there. We'll join that again, though, once things kick off. For now, you've got the rotate on screens, and Melise still trying to make their move. Trapped under the bridge here, as CEO later wants them to pay the toll. He is trying to defend this, it seems. DBS in hands, close quarters engagement up against the SMG, just peppered instantly, overwhelmed there, and crumbles because of it. So the remaining members of Melise are expired, and Inco could potentially third party from there. Had a read on the hill, but don't aggress down.
Yeah, for Inco, it's a little bit of a difficult scenario for them, but they're able to hold on to it. Not bad at all. DXavier continue on. I think this has been one of the more consistent teams from our lobby so far. Inco moving over towards NASA, over towards Spec at the moment. A little bit of a difficult position to be playing in. Doesn't really have the support of his teammates, but nice